Now, there's no doubt about it that by far, Jon and Dave's efforts are going a long ways with the Star Wars movies, the Star Wars TV shows, to really make this franchise an ever-evolving process, and a very expansive library of both live-action and animated material that's going to debut on Disney Plus and in theaters again, and let's not forget about the books and the novels and the comics that's really going to serve as extra pieces of lore to really fill in the gaps there. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that there's a lot of things happening at the same exact time between what Jon, George, and Dave are putting together with Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Season 2, and a whole lot more on the horizon, we also have a lot of other things happening between Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and John Watts on Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. That's looking like a very shaky production on both ends there. But what's even all the more exciting on top of everything is that what Disney executives recently approved by Jon and Dave's request, and a very big pitch that they recently gave out to Disney a couple of days ago to really help improve the overall community and Gina Carano's acceptance as Cara Dune again. So we know that everything related to Star Wars right now is big hit or miss, right? We know that the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew are wildly, wildly criticized among fans. We know a lot of fans out there realize that these are Kathleen Kennedy-driven projects mainly, and it's been having a very rough production. We'll talk about that a little bit later. There's a couple of updates with those two titles, but I digress. What's really intriguing about this is that with Jon and Dave getting ready to produce more Star Wars projects and even the new Star Wars movies, recently Disney executives approved yet another great addition for Cara Dune and the return of Gina Carano in ways fans would never even imagine. Now, it's noted that right now Disney is moving ahead with one of Jon and Dave's big plans to officially greenlight Rangers of the New Republic to be remade with a new title featuring Cara Dune as the main character of the Star Wars series that is now finally moving forward, with Disney on the hunt to find another writer to help Jon and Dave on the script. With Cara Dune centered to be the main character, characters such as recreations of Luke, Han, and Leia in their younger years will also be the very big addition to the franchise. With ILM stepping in to demonstrate their soon-to-be perfected technology to bring characters like Luke, Han, and Leia back to their young lives flawlessly, Cara Dune is planned to have many scenes with these classic characters that will be portrayed by Gina Carano yet again with a brand new design for Cara Dune. Now let me just stop right here for 1 second. We talked about this lightly about 2 weeks ago about how Rangers of the New Republic is going under a big facelift. Basically, it is getting revived. It's going to have a brand new title, a revised script or plot, if you will, that's going to have the general same idea, but it's going to have a lot to do with the recreation of Luke, Han, and Leia now, actually interacting with Cara Dune in the actual Star Wars series. Now, they want to get a lot of other experienced writers on board, aside from Jon and Dave helping out, and basically this is going to be something that will be considered a direct sequel to Return of the Jedi, focusing on the fall of the Empire remnant that actually is out there in the galaxy after the Death Star 2 explosion. So we already know that Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, there is this type of culture war happening over at Lucasfilm, because there's a lot of creatives that follow Jon and Dave's efforts, but there's also a lot of other creatives that follow Kathleen Kennedy's efforts on Star Wars. And it's something that's very unfortunate, but yes, like the Star Wars fandom, there too is a divide over at Lucasfilm between employees. Now, moving on to the next big thing. This is where things begin to really pick up with Rangers of the New Republic getting revised. Now, we know that everything related to this post-Return of the Jedi era, Jon Favreau flat out said this about 3 days ago, that there's a lot to explore, like over 30 years worth of content that they can really explore, not just in shows, but also in movies and even the books that's really going to fill in the gaps. Now on to the next thing, of course. Jon and Dave are endlessly trying to get writers like Tony Gilroy and even James Cameron to help with of course, couple of episodes to write for Rangers that is now under the code name of Diamond Wing. Project Diamond Wing is set to be focused days after the events of Return of the Jedi, leading up to 1 year later during the Battle of Jakku to show fans the true fall of the main remnant of the Empire. The series surrounding Cara Dune is also going to show a couple of different factions of the Empire fighting against each other, and how it's something that Jon and Dave are pitching and are planning to make Cara Dune a double agent, playing both sides, however still the ally to the Republic, to garner new information about the factions of the Empire. Storyboards of Gina's return have already been completed also for the second season of Ahsoka that Jon and Dave are going to begin writing by this summer. So let me just stop right here quickly for one moment, is that we know that Gina Carano is a whole touchy subject, and Bob Iger even openly stated this, that it's something that they have to be very careful with, that they, yes, are working on a remedy for the overall situation, and this is something that's being talked about every single week, about how they can make that remedy balanced for all fans that love and hate Gina Carano. I say, why the balance? Pick a side, is what I would say. You know, that's what Disney should really do, is focusing on one side and satisfying, you know, what's going to really attract the hardcore fan base, which is exactly why they're focusing on Luke, Han, and Leia returning in this project. They want to make sure that it's going to really lend itself to the legacy characters. So instead of focus on the Kathleen Kennedy-driven characters, they want to focus on the legacy characters. And that's, you know, a better balance, if you will. Now, the thing about Cara Dune coming back with the redesign and coming back as a double agent, but staying true to being the ally of the New Republic, is interesting. I know some fans out there may not like that approach that Jon and Dave are putting together, but this is going to give Cara Dune, I guess you could say, a little bit more importance, I guess you could say, in the Star Wars franchise, a little bit more of having a bigger role or a bigger, you know, impact on the storyline. They want to make sure that this character is not just going to be thrown in there just to satisfy fans that have been asking for her return for years. They want to make sure that this is going to make a lot of sense story-wise and character development-wise to really just kind of flesh out the story. And obviously, Kathleen Kennedy behind closed doors is not happy about this. She's trying to fight all of this, trying to prevent any of this from happening, because she believes that bringing Gina back is going to be the final nail in the coffin for the Star Wars universe. She believes that if Gina comes back, Star Wars will officially be dead. And you know what? I think that's obviously just her being defensive. She has a personal issue with Gina Carano that we may never learn about, because all of her issues with Gina predate what Gina was writing on social media and Twitter. So anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear